This Audi TT had a misfire that nobody could fix. I checked the spark plugs, the coil packs, the injectors, I checked compression, I even rebuilt the cylinder head. And still, it was not enough. But in this video, I find the hidden problem with this engine. Just as a quick backstory, I bought this TT as a project. It was not running when I bought it. I changed the injectors and I got it running, but then it had a misfire. The misfire was only at idle, and when you drove the car drove absolutely perfectly. So I started with the basics and we had no luck there. Then I did a compression test and cylinder 4 was down by 25 PSI, which is so marginal. So I thought, okay, there's other tests that I need to do, like a leak down test, like a smoke test, like a wet compression test, but I couldn't find any issues there. So I pulled the head off the engine, completely rebuilt it and lapped all of the valves. Then I put the engine back together, but still the same misfire. At this point I was thinking, is the engine just dead? But then I was thinking about it and it just didn't make sense because the car drove absolutely perfectly when you drove it. It was only at idle that it was misfiring. At this point there was only one logical step, and it was either make or break. So I'm now going to go pick up a new cylinder head. It's a brand new second-hand one. Got about 90k on it. It's a relatively sort of cheap option. If I was to get my cylinder head sort of pressure tested, it would cost me nearly as much as this replacement head. And the guys told me that, you know, that this cylinder head was running about 300 brake horsepower prior to being removed from the engine that it was actually on. So I really don't know if this is going to actually fix my compression issue or my misfire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the piston out of cylinder 4 when I remove my head again, and then obviously once I get this new head and put the new head back on, hopefully we shouldn't, you know, I've basically ruled everything out, so I really don't know what else it could be if it's not the cylinder head and I pull the piston out and the piston rings are alright and the skirt's alright and the bore is okay, and I don't know what else it could be. So this is kind of like my last two options before I have to just get a new engine, which I really don't want to do because my engine's fine. My engine runs absolutely, you know, spot on. So yeah, let's go pick up this head and let's get it home, and then we can start disassembly of my head. So I've just got home and I picked up the new cylinder head. So this is the new cylinder head. It definitely needs a bit of a clean up, but yeah, it looks in pretty good condition, so I'm happy with it. The valves definitely need a clean up. So I think what I'm gonna have to do before I put this head on, obviously, is take the TT head off, but I'm gonna pull this one apart and I'm just going to clean up all the valves, just make sure everything is good inside. Obviously just make sure the timing is good, and yeah, then we can obviously put this one back together and slap it on. The next thing that I actually need to do is get back on the TT, pull that head off, then we'll go from there. So the TT is currently looking like this. We have no timing belt on, we have no intake on, the exhaust manifold is loose, so we're ready to take the head off again. All I need to do is remove the head bolts. Off camera the other day, I took the piston out of cylinder 4, so we're currently looking like this. I have just put the sump back on because obviously I'm outside and I don't want dust and everything to be blowing up into where the crank is. The piston is here, and I've just had that sort of sonic cleaned, or sonic vibration cleaned, and yeah, that's looking really nice. The piston rings are absolutely fine. There's a little bit of sort of scuffing on the piston skirt, but I think that's pretty normal. That's not too much of an issue. The piston looks absolutely fine, or the piston crown. The rod isn't bent. The bearings inside are absolutely fine. So I'm happy that I actually took the piston out, but obviously I've got no issue here. So it's not the bottom end like I sort of thought before. I've bought new conrod bolts, so I've got 2 new conrod bolts there, ready to replace these ones. And also off camera the other day, I rebuilt the other head. So we have the other head here, and I've cleaned out all of the valves, so they're all looking
pretty nice. And this head is pretty much ready to go on. The sealant is all on, it's all timed up, and it's looking good. I do just need to take the chain cover off of the old one and put it on the new one, and then that's pretty much ready to go in. But before I put that on, I need to put the piston back in. But before I put the piston back in, I just need to clean out the sump. I'm just going to clean that all around. I've cleaned, well, nearly cleaned the mating surface. I've cleaned the mating surface on the underneath of the block, and then we can get that put back on once the piston's in. So the sump is all cleaned up, and underneath the engine is all cleaned up as well. So now I need to drop this piston back into the cylinder. I've got this little spring compressor for the piston rings. So my mate Steve gave me this ring compressor, brand new, so I really appreciate you giving me that. I would not be able to get this piston in without this, so much appreciated. Let's get this piston in. So now we need to put the piston back into the cylinder. So just for reference, you've got these little valve marks here. So obviously when we put this piston back in, we want the valve marks to be facing me, or you essentially, and not at the back. So that needs to go on there. And then the cap, we also have a little mark. Let's just move that there. We also have a little mark right here on the cap, so we can put that facing towards the front of the car, which will obviously then match it up and make sure that the cap fits nicely. Because I think it's really cool, but the way that these are made is obviously they are cast as one, and then they are they put a little line around it and then they crack it, and it basically just breaks. And then when they fit together, they fit absolutely perfectly. So yeah, I think this is really cool. But yeah, let's get this ring compressor on, and then we'll put it back into the cylinder. So let's drop the piston in, and then I'm going to use the bottom of the mallet to lightly tap. I'm just going to go underneath and make sure that the con rod is connecting to the actual crankshaft. All good underneath. There we go, she's in. First time installing a piston.
I'd have never been able to get this far in my mechanics journey without the support of King Bolin. Over the past 5 months, I've been using this Diagnostics device to help me diagnose, maintain, and keep on top of my vehicles, to help me be able to fix them, modify them, and understand what's going wrong with my cars. And they recently got in contact with me saying that they've brought out a new device, the S608. Now the eDiag Elite has been an absolute lifesaver for me, and it is just a little dongle which you get an app on your phone. But the new S608 device is a tablet device which plugs straight into your OBD reader. This makes a DIYer like me look like a professional. It has a super user-friendly interface with very nice tactile buttons and a cable long enough so you can plug it into your OBD port. And the best thing about this device for someone like me is I'm buying cars which are different makes, different models all the time, and I need a device that can keep up with me. And the S608 can do exactly that. So no matter whether you have a VW, Audi, BMW, Rolls-Royce, Mini, Ferrari, Lamborghini, or even Bugatti, this King Bolin device can diagnose absolutely every car on the market. It also has a bunch of maintenance functions, so you can go in here and you can do ABS bleeding, you can do battery matching, you can do brake pad resets, throttle control adaptation, gear learning, injector coding, oil resets, and steering angle resets. So if you want to change your rear discs on your car but you've got an electric handbrake, you can remove the handbrake with the Diagnostics tool. I'm also going to be painting my calipers soon, so I'm gonna need to remove my caliper. So whether you need to replace your discs and pads on your car with electric handbrake, you need to do a service interval reset on your car, maybe you need to read an unexpected engine light code on your vehicle, or you have a car from hell like this Audi TT and you need to read the live data, this King Bolin device can do absolutely all of it. This King Bolin device has Lamborghini performance for a Toyota price tag. So make sure to save yourself a bunch of cash from going to the garage and finding out what's wrong with your car. Now you can do it yourself. You can pick up one of these devices from Amazon. I'll leave the link in my description, and make sure to use my discount code which is on screen now to save yourself 5% off your total bill. And thanks so much King Bolin for the continued support. Let's get back to rebuilding this TT.
Cool, so let's get the bottom cap on. I've got the 2 new bolts here, the 2 old bolts are right here. So just going to put some oil on here. I've just used some brake cleaner just to clean the bearing up and make sure there's no debris on there. I'll put some oil on it and then we'll put it in underneath. So hopefully you can see this well enough, but you know, it's quite hard to show anything under here anyway. But these bolts, they go to 30 Newton meters and then 90 degrees. So I'm gonna just do the 30 Newton meters and then we'll do the 90 degrees. Right, that's 30 newton meters on one, and that's 30 on the other. And then we need to just do 90 degrees. There we go. So we're gonna be straight out here. So let's do 90 on that. And that's 90 on the second one. So now when we turn the engine over by hand, we should get a piston come back up. There we go.
Right, so I'm literally now filling up oil in the engine. The engine is all back together, everything is back on. There's literally nothing else that we need to do other than I've left the fuel pump relay out just so I can crank the car over a few times just before we actually turn it on, just because I want to build up some oil pressure. But yeah, let's just finish off putting more oil into the engine and then we'll give it a crank over, obviously crank it for a few times, and then we'll give it a start. Right, so the jumper pack's on the battery, there's enough oil in there, so let's give it a little crank over. Whew, it's been a while. Okay, cool. Good, nice, a few cranks, good. Right, now let's put the fuel relay back in. There we go. And now is the big moment. Let's give her a start up. Make sure it's not in gear. Yeah, nice. Idle's a little bit high at the moment, but I think it's probably just because it's going to warm up. Nothing crazy out the back. That's good, sounds good. It doesn't sound misfire-y. Obviously it's had the head off, it's had loads of stuff off, so probably just needs to burn a little bit off. Maybe there's a little bit of spilt oil, but it sounds so much better actually. Make sure we're not leaking. Yeah, nothing leaking. And now idle's coming down. Oh, she's actually running really nicely right now. I think I've fixed the unfixable. It's not even shaking. Inside the car is not even shaking. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I think I might have fixed the unfixable. The engine feels so much nicer. The car's not shaking anymore. I'm gonna have to pull up the diagnostics to make sure that we don't have any misfires, obviously, but I feel like I might have actually fixed the unfixable. So I've just pulled up the live data and we literally have 0 misfires, and I've been running it like this for a little while and there's 0 misfires. We have actually fixed the unfixable. What an absolute relief. I don't know if if you've been watching this series with the TT for a little while now, you'll know that I said that I didn't think this car would ever run again, or properly again. And oh my God, I really don't know what to say. There's 0 misfires, there's still 0 misfires, absolutely nothing. It's, oh my God. Absolutely nothing. I genuinely never thought that I would get this car fixed. I thought maybe I'd have to buy a new engine just to get it running properly, but we've actually done it. I was genuinely really dreading putting this new head back on and starting the engine and then having a misfire still, but we don't. So it's been a few days since I fully got the Audi TT fixed and it's still running absolutely perfectly. I still can't believe that it's actually running so nicely. There's still a few things that we need to fix on the Audi TT. We've got the mechanism here to open the bonnet. This is actually snapped in here, so I've bought a new one of these. I'm just waiting for it to be delivered. There's a few other little bits which I need to do on this car. Obviously I need to paint the bonnet, I need to paint the
boot.
But I gave the car a really nice clean the other day and it's come up really, really nicely. I'm happy with how it's looking. I gave the interior a nice clean and the exterior. There's only really a few bits that I need to do on this car before we can look to potentially sell it, potentially raffle it. I don't know what to do with it. So let me know in the comment section below what you think I should do with this car. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button for more content like this, and I'll catch you in the next one.